Mike?
Yep, go ahead.
Well, thanks.
Can I call the meeting?
Yes, please.
Okay, it's 2:02 and I'd like to call the meeting to order. There's nobody here to make public comments, so we'll move on to approval of minutes from April 8th, 2025. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of April 8th.
Can I second that? I second that. Okay, item D, business items, finance, cannabis, revenue and tax.
Okay, so the cannabis revenue and tax are in the packet. They're just referencing how we're looking compared to last year at this time. It looks like we ended the first quarter at 96% of the previous year. And with the way the payments are coming in, they're a little wonky because some of the late payments are coming in and throwing off how it looks. So yeah, I think we could be done with that one, but then
Are they still late?
yes. They promised to pay. They did pay out and then before. But then on this, in the same vein, if we're talking about cannabis tax, we did do a calculation, which is also in the packet, of what
It's online.
we think we could reduce the annual tax fees to. It's considerable for delivery and retail, and it's about $1,000 for everyone else.
You were at the cannabis.
Yeah, I was
meeting,
at the ad hoc
So we were talking
Yeah,
about eliminating
reducing
it.
it because they need it, because
Yeah.
they're suffering financially.
Yeah, so there would be like a $3,000 savings to dispensaries and deliveries
Per year.
per year.
Okay, gotcha.
But then if we included that cost into the tax, like we were talking about, then combining all the fees related to cannabis into the tax. If we did that, well, there's two options. We could either, do retail and say your tax is now 4.5%. And manufacturing and everything else is 2%, or we can combine them and say everyone is paying 2.5%.
So that's an option to
Yes.
decide on.
And that would be getting us to last year's tax. I mean, if obviously if revenues go down, the tax is gonna go down as well, and if it goes up, then we'll be getting more, so. That annual fee also includes 2 audits per year. And $3,000 for education, which I put that in there because I had heard someone say, I think Mayor Lands, I heard him say something about, we want to add in money for education, but I wasn't sure if you wanted to add it into the tax, put it in there, we could totally take it out, it's not gonna change that much for $3,000. But that's kind of where we landed on that one, which would considerably reduce the administration.
I think what we want to do is, do another one of those meetings with cannabis
Ad hoc.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then present this to them, and if they're okay with it, then go ahead and eliminating the annual permit renewal fee and by increasing their tax to cover the cost. And it'll just be easier for us. We're just chasing them down every year, trying to get them to that permit, and it's kind of strange to make somebody apply for a permit every year when they're in good standing, so.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, and also then we're trying to keep this one and this one, and if we just have one combined.
Yeah, no, makes sense.
The last thing that I have is the water revenue report, which also is in the packet. We did see that there was a $5,000 increase over last year this time, which is not the 12% increase that there was in the water rates, and I believe the answer is because these are for, April charges that were charged in May, and there was rain in April, and so, we didn't see as much usage as we did the year before. That's the end of my review.
So if you're okay with it, we're gonna convene the cannabis group. We don't even call it that, it's just the.
Cannabis.
It's their cannabis
Yeah.
group. We're gonna present this to them and hopefully get this done.
I'm fine
This
with
is
that.
A good one.
So, are we moving on now
Yeah.
to, number 2, under finance measure DD use of funds?
I don't have any update on the use of funds for Measure DD at this point.
We haven't gotten any money, have we?
No, and we're gonna be doing the oversight committee at the next meeting.
Yeah, tomorrow Alex is gonna be presenting the establishing a committee, no oversight committee for
Yeah,
the money.
sure.
We haven't gotten any money yet. So simple answer is.
Yeah,
we haven't
nothing to
used it.
do if
Yeah.
you don't have the goods.
Right. I don't think that group needs to meet for a year.
Right.
I would think.
And by then, somebody may move away from that group. Yeah. Okay, so now we are moving on to number 3, grant funding matrix.
Yeah, no real update there. We have a few grants we're working through and there's a few more coming up, but, no, we have updates on that. Except for the next item.
Okay, so the next item is number 4, CEQA CAL FIRE grant.
Yeah, so, Chief Jenkins, informed me of a grant that could be available for the city to help do vegetation management. It could be substantial. The catch is that the city has to do the sequel, which is the environmental review. So you have to do an environmental review of guys, and gals up there cutting everything, so that could be as much as 30,000.
So is it worth it?
I don't know, I mean, I need to talk to him a little bit more, he just found this information today,
Okay,
so he said it could be as high as 30. But if that means that they're gonna be up there for weeks on end, it would certainly be worth it, but, I'll report back. 30 seems like a little bit much, but.
yeah, that's,
But that was coming from Chief Tuberville, Geyserville, so it would be Geyserville, the whole North District, so. I'll just keep it on the radar, if we have to, if it makes sense to spend the money to get weeks and weeks of guys cutting stuff down, then
it would be
we'll
worth
do
it,
it.
yeah. Okay, that makes total sense. Number 5, department report.
Yeah, I don't have any more.
Okay, that's fine. Now we're moving on to community development, number 6, vacation rental.
So the direction from this committee a while back was to explore the idea of increasing the number of vacation rentals in town. And so I took that to the planning commission and they were open to it. But having a set number, so like, we currently allow them in 2 zones, which are downtown and then the immediate zone. Just block off of downtown, and we have a few. We definitely have at least 2 that are operating without permits where they're not supposed to.
Hmm.
So, the planning commission wanted us to work on some rules that are pretty stringent and then potentially limit the number. So we would say there's 5 permits available. It would be like first come, first served. I mean, the whole point of this is to,
Get the tax rate.
get the tax and also try to help tourism, because we only have the 2 hotels and a lot of people don't like those. And they would rather stay in, vacation rental. So that's the,
I'm, like I said at the last meeting, I'm not really into, vacation rentals in people's backyards. For all kinds of reasons.
it's definitely,
I think it takes away regular rental property.
it does those things, for sure.
And I don't like that, because that happened to me when I was being in the country 5 years.
If this thing gets legs and makes it, it'll be before the council.
Yeah,
So
That's good.
we'll just keep talking about it. And
yeah,
if it makes it to council, there'll be a whole set of rules that the planning commission talked about, having someone available 24/7 who that all the neighbors would know, like 1 per block maximum, 5 total. Quiet hours, all those things that we found from other cities, so, their direction really was to bring it back with a set of rules, so they may say,
I'm all for rules.
we're gonna encourage it, but it's ultimately the council's decision,
Yeah,
so. More to come on that,
okay.
just kind of. Okay.
So under community development, do we need to do department?
No,
Or we
we're-
don't? Okay. Now we're moving on to police, number 8. Personnel updates, staffing recruitments.
Please announce that. So we have 2 officers starting the academy in July. We just went and got their uniforms squared away. So we're on target to get them started. They will graduate December. We interviewed this Friday. We're doing interviews of 10 folks this Friday,
Wow.
for police officers. 2 are laterals and the rest are trainees. If you hire a lateral, we can start them sooner than later. If we decide to go with a trainee, next academy is in January. That puts us about a year out before they can get done with their academy and in FTO. Or we would have to look at another location to send to the academy that would start sooner to get them out in the streets sooner. So we'll see. See what happens. That's all I have for personnel.
Okay. Number 9, military equipment use, AB 481.
Yeah, so I have the staff report. It didn't make it in the lake. But that's just real quickly. So in 2021, they passed AB 481, which labeled some of the equipment we already use as military equipment. We don't have any military equipment other than it's being defined as military equipment under
Sure.
these guidelines. And mostly it's designed to, for government to approve any military equipment use, because there's a lot of, like you see the MRAPs and all that stuff, they pretty much give those out to welfare agencies, on request, and we don't have any of that stuff. So really the only things that we have listed that are qualified as military equipment is our rifles, which we've been using for years and years. Our UAV, which is our drone, and we have a 40mm launcher, which no one's trained currently to use, so we don't use it. We are sending one of our sergeants to a less lethal class that he'll be able to come back and train officers, and we're going to deploy handguns and some other less lethal stuff that we use, along with the taser. So, yeah. So that's pretty much it. We're required to bring this to council with the policies attached, the explanation for the 41 is attached.
Is this tomorrow?
No, it'll go in June.
Okay.
End of June.
Number 10, Axon contract.
So the Axon contract, I've been going back and forth with those folks for quite some time.
This is the body cam, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you just think, so it's our tasers, evidence.com, which is where when we record something, it goes to evidence.com and uploads to that. And then from there, the DA's office requests it from us, and we allow them access to the video, and then it goes to court, so it's available for cases. So I did look at alternatives, cheaper, but the integration with Axon in in Sonoma County, it's hard to get away from. Just the ease of for records to the DA's office, it's really difficult. It's a good service, but they got the market cornered. So I always try to get the bigger bang for my buck. So they came back with a few iterations of quotes. So we landed on the current quote. That's what wasn't anything, but didn't make the link. So our current contract ends in April, and that's, that totals, 132,000. And change, that doesn't include tax. Our current,
5 years.
for 5 years,
That's
yes,
good.
sorry.
For 5 years.
So our current contract, their quote ends, totaling 159,000 with tax. So with the cost increases of the last 5 years, I think it's reasonable. And they give us some free stuff.
Oh, that's good.
Well,
Yeah.
so that will continue our use of Taser sevens. So if, along with that, they what they call is a tap refresh. So like, in our current contract with this past 5 years, they refreshed our body worn cameras. There's always, newer versions of it coming out. So mid-year contract did a tap refresh. So we had body cam 3s, with body cam 4s. And so it includes a tap refresh. Here also includes the docking stations, for both the Taser, chargers, battery chargers, and the body worn camera chargers. Which also uploads to the cloud securely. And then it also includes all the warranties for the items. If something breaks, we just send it back and they send us a new one.
Oh, that's.
They include all the holsters. They are including the sidearm, signal sidearm, which, you know, and even if one of the officer pulls his gun out, it's gonna activate his body camera. He's not gonna stop, you know.
Mhm.
He has to do it. So, and then we also, currently, we also have, a system in the car where when they turn on their lights, it will activate the body camera. So we're kind of covered a lot of different ways, so that, you know, we always want to protect, you know, the officers and the community for transparency. You know, so anytime they get something, the body camera's activated without them having to think about it.
That's gonna be.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much the contract in a nutshell. I can provide you with a copy, you know, copy.
Oh, I'm fine.
It'll be in the packet with this.
I trust your opinion.
So that's pretty much it with the Axon contract.
Okay,
Again, I've been working on it for a while. With the first one.
You worked them.
Yeah, with the process.
number 11, animal control contract update.
Yeah, so we're still working on that. I thought we were gonna have the contract to present to you guys. He hasn't gotten back to me. But so he did make a proposal of a 20% increase over his last contract. I sent one back. He would sound like he was in agreement. You know, I said, well, we can spread that over 5 years or 4 years, versus 20% upfront, which is a little cheaper for us. And I wanted to include like, because they got rid of the some training, because they just don't have the staff to do it. So I suggested, well, maybe we do some dog obedience training a couple times a year. And then
Also changed it to more days in town.
yeah, so they, the original contract was 5 days a week. They changed it to 7 days a week. Of course, if we call them on when they're, you know, on a Sunday, they would come out.
If we need them.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
that's,
they've always done that.
and the pet store's helpful, right? A little bit with like lost animals and things.
I don't know, the pet store?
Yeah, the one downtown, the new one.
I don't know if they've done
We
it.
talked to her about it, but
Because like somebody keeps losing an iguana and then they'll put it there until the people can come.
Oh.
Get it. You know,
Oh.
she seems like she's very willing to help cover
Oh, okay.
situations. Yeah.
That's it.
It's helpful.
But so when I get the contract back from Mark, I'll bring it back.
Okay. Yeah. The next item is number 12, department report.
Yes, so obviously, when staffing is key, preparing for 4th of July. All hands on deck for the parade, concert, and fireworks show, and then the fireworks, same thing. And then Citrus Fair is also having an event that day as well. So we will be busy. We did finish our, we had some walls put up and, a door put in. That's been done. And we're working on getting people moved into those offices. And then, we have our national night out coming up in August 5th. All of our sponsors are ready to go. We're finishing that up. That will be in the Cloverdale Connect in July and August. Cloverdale Connect is one of the sponsors and it's offered to do that for free for us.
Cloverdale.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
If you need ice cream, Strauss gives ice cream out in Point Reyes, like at National Night Out.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
they're very generous.
The last thing I have is, Brazilian Cloverdale Group. They are, they provide us with a scope of work. They are requesting, they currently get $10,000 a year, and they're scheduled to get $10,000 next year. It's budgeted. And so they want an increase of 25,000. So this budget cycle, it would be an increase of 15,000. July 1 into that budget line item. And then they do a whole host of stuff with providing pamphlets for that evacuation stuff. Coordinating with the groups to do evacuations. They're doing Neighbor Fest this year to promote knowing your neighbor, who's in need, how do you get out, in an emergency. Know your zone, they're responsible for all that, all the literature, the maps. They update the website, they have insurance. They do all their own social media, everything to get the word out. So 25,000 is a reasonable ask. I think we have our budget coming up next year for our next 2 years. So I mean, if approved, it'll go to council, right? If approved, then we can update our, we'll have to do a budget amendment for
25, 26.
25, 26, then we can include it in our next budget.
It's on the, aside from that topic, on the 25th, June, the 25th, yeah, we're gonna do a budget, capital budget. So there may be some requests for,
More money,
for certain things like this.
for sure.
Yeah.
They have a lot of volunteers though,
Yes,
too.
I know, or it's not really on the agenda, so I think we got our direction to put it on the request to council on the 25th. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah. fine.
All right.
Okay, so we had our police department report. Now we're moving on to administration, number 13, human resources report.
Yeah, let's see, no real updates there. And we're working on job descriptions and a few other certificate things, but nothing too exciting.
Were you gonna get a assistant city manager or are you just like?
Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is,
Mhm. You need help, yeah.
well, what I wanna do is, I'm gonna be up for my evaluation in July, so I'll talk to you guys about it then.
Oh, okay.
And hopefully pursue that in the second half of the year. That's my plan.
Sounds good. Okay, so are we moving on to number 14 then?
Yeah.
City clerk's office report. 14.1 Cloverdale Connect ad.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a quick update that, since we haven't been doing articles in the Cloverdale Connect, we are gonna put an ad in the next one, and it's basically something we already shared on our social media. But it's an ad that just kind of tells the public how they can get in touch with the city, whether it's through social media, email, in person, on the phone, gives all of the ways they can connect with us. Question I kind of had, and something we can flesh out more as far as price goes, if we want it to be an ongoing ad, or if it's something we want to do just here and there. Not a decision we have to make now, but they asked me, so I figured I would ask you. It's cheaper.
And what
What was that?
what size it was gonna be?
Yeah, I think it was a 1/6 page ad is what we went for this time. But that's
Three.
still like $400 plus. It's 10% cheaper if we do it every time. But that's something we have the budget at ish, but we kind of went away from the articles because obviously $1,700 plus was something that we weren't interested in anymore. But moving forward with an ad is something we can discuss internally, and I don't know, depending on how you want to proceed. It's just an idea that they submitted to me. So I thought
I think the idea was, I mean, the direction from the council was to put things in periodically, I think that's.
As needed.
Yeah, so this is just a small, I mean, what is this, a 16th or what did you say? A
1/6 page ad was about the smallest we could get, so you could actually read.
It's a small, yeah.
Oh, okay,
So it's really just directing people to our
Gotcha.
social media.
Okay.
There's no lot of, it's not like some big wordy thing.
okay, gotcha. And it's a one-time deal.
Yeah, one time.
Sounds fine.
Let's do it, Mike.
Okay, so are we moving on to 14.2
Yep.
AC update?
Yeah, that was just a quick letting everyone know that the AV equipment is still not fully operational in CPAC, no matter what. We've had multiple vendors come in, give different quotes that we're looking at. They exceed our current numbers that we have allocated. But so we're kind of working with some different options and testing some ideas. And the mayor, myself, our current IT team, we're in there quite often, as you can see. But the AV side of things, the audio side of AV, has been working better. However, if anybody tuned into the planning commission, they can see that the video side of things is still not fully operational. So we're hoping that it works better tomorrow. Our IT guy has looked into it more, fixed a few bugs, tested some things, but long-term options we still need to figure out because the system, it's not old, but it's not working as successfully and consistently as we'd like. So we do need to figure out some long-term options, which will likely involve a budget amendment. And Kevin and I will work with IT and Susie and folks to figure out how we want to proceed with that so council can give us direction. But long-term, it's a problem that we need to get remedied eventually. But that's all I have for that.
Thank you. Moving on to number 15, city manager's office report.
I don't think I have a report.
Okay, that's fine. Let's see. So we have D1 supplemental attachments. Do we need to do anything with those or have we
No, those are
kind of
related.
covered them?
Yeah, those are related
Okay,
to the
that's what I
previous
thought.
items.
Future agenda items.
All right, you got anything?
I don't have anything. Anybody else have anything?
Just need the tax.
The cannabis tax, keep that going. The vacation rental thing, that's gonna be a long discussion. I don't think there's anything new.
Okay, that's fine.
Maybe we can take, like, some of these will probably come off after the next couple council meetings, so
Sure.
they'll be done, so we'll just do that as they come up. And I think that's it.
Okay, and so we're ready to adjourn
Yeah.
the meeting at 2:31 p.m.
Wow.
Job. Very good.